Welcome to Frances Reads the Bible. Today I'm off to Genesis chapter 13. Genesis chapter 13 is about Abraham and Lot's separation. So, when Abraham went north out of Egypt to the southern part of Canaan with his wife and everything he owned, and Lot, his nephew, Lot was the son of Haran, Abraham's brother. So Abraham was a very rich man with sheep, goats, and cattle, as well as silver and gold. All the things he gained from the land of Haran, especially from the land of Egypt, things were gifted to him when they believed that Sarai was Abraham's sister. The king gave him lots of gifts, property, and whatnot. So, yes. Then, verse 3 says, they left there and then they moved from place to place, going towards Bethel. Then Abram reached the place between Bethel and Ai, where he had camped before. That was the place where he built the altar to God. That place he had worshipped God before. And he saw that altar again, and there he worshipped the Lord again. Thanking God for helping him get his wife back, even though he lied, for God being merciful towards him. He wasn't killed, even though he manipulated and he told lies, and also helping him. He had so much property now from Egypt, and he was living with his wife, and they left in peace, not in pieces. So he was grateful to God, and he worshipped God at that altar. So Lot, who is Abraham's nephew, also had lots of property: sheep, goats, cattle, family members, servants. There was a lot. Remember, these two had been moving together from the land of of the Chaldeans to Haran and now to Egypt, and from Egypt they've moved out again. They've been moving together and they're really close. But unfortunately, these two men were great and they had a lot of things. So quarrels broke out from verse 6. Quarrels broke out between the men who took care of Abraham's animals and those who took care of Lot's animals, because these two, the land was not enough for them because they had too many things. I think what I'm learning from this verses in this chapter is sometimes you might start a journey with someone. Maybe the person is an employee, or you guys were partners in a business or something, or you guys were friends or something. But then two masters cannot be in one boat, in one ship. These are two great men. They could not continue that journey together. Now they are of equal, they are mates. Destinies and purposes had to go separate ways. When God has called you to be a great pastor, and God has called this one to be a great pastor, or God has called you to be a CEO, and God has also called this person to be a CEO. A CEO cannot, someone's destiny is to be a CEO, cannot be an employee under a CEO, or two strong-willed people cannot work together. It doesn't mean they're enemies. It just means these two people are destined for greatness. And when this happens, the best solution is to go separate ways, which was what Abraham did. He said to Lot, we are relatives, and your men and my men shouldn't be quarreling. So let's separate. Choose any part of the land you want. You go one way, and I'll go the other way. Abraham had wisdom. He understood. This is where the journey ends for Lot and I. We've been great together. My nephew and I have been close, but we are two great men. Two great men cannot move. There has to be a king. We cannot both be kings in one boat, in one kingdom. There has to be one king. So one person has to leave for the other, as in go your way, I go peacefully, not with fight, not to quarrel. You know what? I think this is where the journey, the season for us ends. I think it's always important to also know, know when to kiss people goodbye, kiss that relationship, that business, that partnership, kiss that person goodbye in peace. Your journeys don't align anymore. They can't be two masters. And Abraham understood this. Nephew, see, It's time we separated. We love each other and da 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 da. But for peace and for our journeys to continue, for the purpose, for our destinies to be fulfilled, it's time to go separate ways. It doesn't make Lot a bad person. It doesn't make Abraham a bad person. But there can be two kings in one kingdom, two masters in one ship. One person has to leave, go the other way, go separate ways. And this is a principle I believe Abraham understood. And sometimes, personally, I struggle with letting people go. And I think a lot of us do that. Letting people go does not mean letting people, opportunities, a career, or something go does not mean, you're a bad person or it was bad. I think everything has its course, its season. Sometimes to move ahead to your next level, or for them to move ahead to their next level, a separation is needed and very important. That is what Abraham understood, and they separated. So, where after Lot left, because Abraham separated from Lot, he gave Lot the opportunity to choose where he wanted to go, the portion of the land he wanted. So God said to Abraham, "From where you are, look carefully." As in, do you know what? God kept showing Abraham the promise, the covenant he made. Kept repeating. He didn't tell him once, so I'm going to. He kept telling him over and over, not once, not twice. I'm going to give you this land to your descendants forever. Your descendants will be accountable. Those from verse 16. I am going to give you so many descendants that no one will be able to count them all. It will be as easy to count all the specks of dust on earth. Can you imagine that? And you now give him instructions. Now go and look all over the whole land. I'm going to give it to you. And as always, after Abraham heard from God in verse 19, he built an altar to the Lord at Mamre, near the sacred trees of Mamre at Hebron. That's what Abraham did every time God appeared to him. Every time he received a word from God, he came into agreement, he built an altar, he thanked God, worshiped God for his promises, for his covenants. Yes, Lord, I agree. I come into agreement with it. I believe you're going to do it. That's something I'm also learning from this. Family is not just by blood. I may not be a descendant of Abraham via genealogy, via blood, but I am a descendant of Abraham through spirituality and my faith in God, and that our Lord Jesus Christ, who is a descendant of Abraham, it was the only and is the only begotten Son of God. So I am a descendant of Abraham spiritually. So yes, this is Frances reads her Bible with me, Frances Okeke. Stay blessed and goodbye.